Ooh, baby, it's horse beef. What's going on, everybody? I want to talk about that absolute disgrace of a card last night. But before we get into the particularly embarrassing and disgraceful parts of the card, there are a few to mention, of course. As seems to be commonplace with every UFC card nowadays, nothing can go by smoothly without a couple of fucking robberies and foul victories and some overselling fouls, right? Like, how crazy is it that MMA is becoming more and more like soccer every single day, where fighters are selling fucking fouls to try and fish for DQ victories? Ooh, it makes me fucking annoyed, man. Oh, it really pisses me off. It's just a disgrace. It should not happen in this sport. But of course, there were some good aspects to this card, right? We had Kamar Usman turning back the clock. I'm sure a lot of people will say it was a boring performance, and I'll be honest, man, I did doze off during the fight. I did. I truthfully did. Is it because I was particularly bored by it? No, I was just very tired last night. So I don't know if I was particularly bored by it. I was more surprised than anything to see Usman successfully shooting from across the octagon with his apparent non-existent knees. If you're to listen to every genius online, right? He has no knees, apparently. And when he did give it to everybody who was talking shit about his knees in his post-fight speech, man, make no mistake, and the shit was funny.
I know it's a running joke. Everybody want to get on the internet and talk shit. Oh, his knees. Well, shut the fuck up. I can still do what I do.
But like, you watch this clip of him walking out of the fucking truck, and like, dude, he looks like my grandfather. Like, he looks exactly like my grandfather walking downstairs. It's crazy. Then he's in the cage, man. He's just able to turn it on, and he looked decent, man. Like I said, though, on the feet, nothing to write home about. The jab is still there, but then everything else, it just seems like he's reaching in for all of his shots. I don't know. He just doesn't seem like he has it with the striking, so he'll really have to lean on his wrestling if he's going to get it done against any of these top guys. And like, even though he looked good here and he turned back the clock, he's still 38, so any time on the sidelines is a bad thing for Kamar Usman, and I do think he'll probably lose his next fight. I'm hoping that we do Usman versus Belal Muhammad, because Usman sure as hell has not earned himself a title shot, so I think we just do Usman versus Belal Muhammad. Why not? There's beef, there's a storyline. It's a great fight. I think Belal wins that one, but then again, I would like to see Usman win it. Why the fuck not make that fight? I think it makes all the sense in the world. Dude, Wellmaker has a bomb of a right hook. He might just be the right hand dominant version of Poatan. I mean, not that he's right hand dominant, but that lead hook is clearly his most effective shot. He was throwing it from the first fucking second of that fight, just spamming it. I think he spammed like 4 or 5 back to back on Chris Mutino just to establish the danger of that right hook. And it's clear that he looks for that right hook every single time. And obviously, I don't think that it'll work against the top 10 at bantamweight. I think he'll get exposed most likely, but that power is enough to trouble anybody. Also, I want to talk about Cody Garbrandt. Looked like looked pretty good for one round, and then, as is to be expected from Cody Garbrandt, he kind of fades and then has no defense and starts getting clipped. And yeah, he understandably lost that fight. I'm sure a lot of people are calling it robbery because you like Cody Garbrandt, but nah, Cody did not deserve a victory in that fight. Philip Rowe, holy shit, man, what a brutal fight. And that finish, dude. I don't know if I've been made more uncomfortable by a finish in a long time. Him holding up Angelus's head while just feeding him right hooks over and over again, uninterrupted. Dude, that shit was terrible to watch. It was so brutal, but I mean, good for Philip Rowe to rally back like that. Holy fucking shit. And Michael Chiesa and Court McGee, I'm sorry, cut them both after that fight. It was a sparring match. Michael Chiesa, I've never been less interested in watching a fighter fight in my entire life. The man does not fight. He anti-fights. For me, he shouldn't be in the UFC. And I think seeing real, like, decent fighters, honestly, go on like a 1-fight, 2-fight losing streak and getting cut from the sport. But then you have Michael Chiesa on the roster still when he offers nothing. Like, he offers nothing, right? Even having Court McGee in there makes no sense to me. But man, just a glorified sparring match. And that type of fight right there should warrant both fighters being cut. I see no benefit to having them on the roster. Makes no sense. But anyway, let's get into the real bullshit here. First off, I want to start off with Abdul Malik. I do have to start off with Abdul Malik here, because I get it, right? He's an undefeated prospect, right? Another undefeated fighter who, I mean, he looked okay, but then again, the fight was literally tied up 1-1 going into the third. He comes out like a bat out of hell looking to finish Brundage real quick, about 36 seconds in, or 34, whatever, 35 seconds. It was not more than 36 seconds into the third round. He lands a big headbutt, steps in with the headbutt, drops Brundage, and then acts like he finished him. And sure, maybe he didn't feel the headbutt, maybe he didn't, but upon watching these replays, it's undeniably a headbutt from Abdul Malik. Now, I'm not saying he did it intentionally or not, but he clearly goes in and leading with his head. Brundage is not to blame here. It's not like they're both coming in and clashing with each other. No, Abdul Malik crashes into Brundage head first here. It looks like he grabs him with both hands by the head almost to clinch and then goes in with the headbutt. I'm not saying it's intentional. But then again, it does not matter because this is such a blatant foul that it shouldn't matter, really. And of course, you'll go back to the Dana White clip of, oh, you think you did it on purpose? You really think you did it on purpose? Well, he was winning the fight, so why would he do it on purpose, right? That type of logic is absolutely stupid. And that doesn't even apply here because on two judges' scorecards, the fight was tied up 1-1. So this fight, at best for Abdul Malik, should have been scored a draw if you're going to go to the scorecards, right? But then for the fight to go to a technical decision when only 36 seconds of the third round was fought is the most ridiculous call I've ever heard in my life. All this does is incentivize cheating because consider this meta right here, right? And if I get into the UFC one day for one reason or another, trust me, I'm going for this meta, and it's foolproof, right? Win either the first or the second round clearly, right? Maybe win the first round, take the second round off a little bit, just lose it, and then in the third round, get this, guys, come out like a bat out of fucking hell, bum rush your opponent, right? Win the first 30 seconds of the round, and then just kick him in the fucking ball sack, make it look unintentional, and then you're the winner. You're the winner, yeah, because 30 seconds of the third round was fought. So let's judge an entire round based off 30 seconds, right? Makes a whole lot of sense. No, Abdul Malik did not deserve a victory here. He won a fight off of a foul, same way that Manel Kape won a fight off of triple eye pokes, right? Same way that Chris Weidman won a fight off of double eye pokes. This is in the same vein of victory as those guys. Now, I'm not saying Abdul Malik is to blame here, but it was a blatant foul. Whether you think it was intentional or not should not matter because the fight was ended as a result of a headbutt. And the rules should be consistent. Just because the third round had started does not mean that you should even score that third round. If anything, it should have been the first two rounds scored. Taking into account the third round and actually giving a score based off of the first 30 seconds is the stupidest shit I've ever heard. Get the fuck out of here. As far as I'm concerned, this fight is a no contest. That is ridiculous. And if I'm Cody Brundage, I'm appealing that in some way. You should not have a loss on the record from that, especially when it was a close fight going into the third, right? 30 seconds does not dictate an entire... I'm sorry, man. That is complete bullshit. And of course, I will never give the commentators a break for this. Dominic Cruz has become my least favorite commentator. He's a joke. Like, this bit of commentary just blows my mind completely.
And that happens. That happens in these fights. You got to keep going. You don't know if it's a head clash or a punch or a knee or an elbow. It's just you're rocked. You got to keep fighting through it.
The logic from Dominic Cruz, right? You don't know if it's a headbutt, man, but you got to keep fighting. Yeah, maybe Cody Brundage didn't know that it was a headbutt. All he knew is that he just got hit with something huge and he couldn't continue. Dominic Cruz. Maybe I don't know, man. I don't know. That seems like a very realistic possibility, man. Like, what the fuck? How is this guy a commentator? I swear, man. Dominic Cruz, Joe Rogan, Daniel Cormier at times too. They're stealing a wage. These people are committing wage theft. At this point, just give me John Anik and Brendan Fitzgerald just saying generic things because, honestly, dude, having Dominic Cruz there and Joe Rogan and Michael Bisping, even to an extent in DC, trying to like flex their knowledge on us while talking absolute nonsense, it just takes away from the fights, in my opinion. So, better yet, even give us Laura Sanko. Laura Sanko gives better insight into the sport than these guys do, right? And that's not to say that she's a higher level fighter than them, but she just applies her knowledge in a much more digestible way than these guys do, because it seems like they're just huffing their own fucking farts most of the time. It's just dog shit commentary.
You never want to see a win off a headbutt, but if it happens, it happens.
Yeah, this is Mark Ratner...
You know, you never want to see a win off a headbutt, but it is what it is, man. You know, you never want to see a win off of a blatant foul and goes against the rule set, right? And completely takes away from the sport and the legitimacy of the sport, right? But you know what? It happens, man. I'm going to keep going on about this. And if I don't stop myself now, then I will go on way too long. But, man, let me know what you guys think in the comments. To me, it was a blatant headbutt, blatant foul. Whether it was intentional or not, the result should have been a no contest or even a DQ. In my opinion, no contest made the most sense here. But let's get on to HalfLafo Balato because, holy shit. He really did give Aljamain Sterling a run for his money when it comes to the Oscar award, man, because wow. What were you thinking? Now, of course, I have to bring it back to this because I see some reactions online, people comparing it to Edson Barbosa's delayed knockout over Shane Burgos, as if these were any way similar. First of all, right, Shane Burgos, he gets cracked with a big right hand, clearly. He's putting on a poker face, and he gets wide-eyed and starts going out. Right, this is much different. He gets kind of clipped with an up kick. It's not that serious. He's going down, signaling to the referee, and then decides that he's now knocked out. Right, and plus like the comical way that he wakes up, and then oh my god, he's scrambling around. Like, he doesn't know what's going on. Like, he sold it very well. He honestly did. He sold it well, but if it wasn't for that moment in between where he's trying to signal to the ref, right, acting like a soccer player, looking out, between his fingers, trying to see if the referee's giving him what he wants, it's complete bullshit, and it's an embarrassment to the sport. But man, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't cracked up laughing watching this whole thing transpire. Just a ridiculous situation overall. And this really does nothing for my opinion on jiu-jitsu nerds, right? I expect nothing less from them. It's just such a bad look. And of course, because they treat it more like a sport than anything, then you have like the K1 kickboxers who come into this shit and treat this shit like a fight because they are warriors and they have that warrior spirit, right? These jiu-jitsu guys, ones who butt scoot and roll around, these are not fucking warriors, man. And stuff like this just goes on to prove it. They're nerds. But it is what it is, guys. And I don't really have a lot to say on it because I think like the verdict is out. Everyone has come to the conclusion that Balato sold the shit, and it's to a comical degree, so I can excuse it in a way, but it's just so ridiculous that he thought that he was convincing people, and he kind of was to an extent, man. But then I saw that replay back. I was like, wait, you were trying to signal to the ref. I'm not too sure if that's how delayed knockouts work, but then he really got into character and started acting like he was asleep, and he woke back up. Oh, God. Oh, man, I can't believe what happened last night. It was just such an embarrassment. Like, the prelims were actually very good, but the main card was just littered with weird shit. Constant. I don't know. The main card just completely ruined it. Even the main event, like as much as I was kind of happy to see the veteran Kamar Usman get it done and turn back the clock a bit, it was still honestly a pretty uneventful fight. But then again, still happy for Kamar Usman and what that means for the welterweight division or maybe the middleweight division. In my opinion, no, he will not be defeating Dricus du Plessis, right? At the very least, he won't be doing that. But can he make a little run? Maybe. But if he gets a title shot, it is undeserved at the end of the day. But then again, guys, that is conclude my thoughts on the card last night. I mostly just wanted to have a laugh at some of the bullshit that went on. So hopefully you guys were able to come and have a laugh with me. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you on the next one.